Yep.
I know who's running video in the back. Are they ready?
I gotta turn my phone off, so come on, you stick sound.
Make a note
It
here real
takes
quick.
a week to change things on this thing.
Okay. Let's make a note here real quick. Okay. We'll call the Newman City Council regular meeting on April 22nd to order, please. Please join me in the pledge. Ready to begin? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Councilman Hutchins, please.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity we have tonight to come together and do the city's business. We just ask that you'll give us wisdom as we discuss and just be with each and every one of us. And we just ask this all in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis. Hutchins.
Present.
Candia.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Caden.
Present. Thank you. And there's nothing to report out of closed session. Direction was given to our legal counsel. Item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none, we'll go to item 6, ceremonial matters. I don't think we have any. Go to item 7, items from the public. Any member of the public wish to address council, now is the time to do it. Don't everybody run at once. We'll go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions set by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the April 8th, 2014 meeting. And I believe there's been a correction made on the last agenda. Everybody's got that?
Yeah.
Okay, with that, ask for council direction.
Make a motion, we approve the consent calendar as is.
I second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. The Councilmember Davis absent. Item 9, public hearing. A is adopt resolution number 2014, next to number of resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4. Chief.
Evening, Mayor, council members. Before you tonight is another weed abatement nuisance. Abatement notices for property maintenance were sent to several properties in accordance with ordinance 95-4, chapter 2, title 8-2-3. These notices advise property owners of their rights at a public hearing, which would be today. The property in question was checked as of yesterday and still looks the way that it does, the 3 pictures that we have.
Where's this at, Chief?
525 Crow Hill. And I'll bring it back for you for consideration.
Any questions or comments for the chief? Seeing none, open the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council? Seeing none, we'll close it and bring it back to council for direction.
I move we adopt resolution number 2014, next to number, declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
Second the motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Davis absent.
Thank you.
Item 10, thank you, Chief. Regular business. A is adopt resolution number 2014, next to number, a resolution initiating proceedings for the levy and collection of assessments for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2014, 2015, and ordering preparation of the engineer's report. Soon.
Good evening, City Mayor and City Council members. City of Newman has 15 zones within the lighting and landscape maintenance district. So these zones represent the general nature, location, and extent of improvement to be maintained with an estimate of cost to maintain and service the improvement in the future. As required by the Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972, a resolution before council initiating proceedings for the levy and collection of assessment and ordering the preparation of assessment engineer's report for lighting and the landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2014-15. So we are going to initiate this proceeding. So next step will be review the engineer's report before the May 27th council meeting, and then we are going to move toward the next one in June for public hearing. So if you have any question, I can answer.
Any questions or comments for Kasum? Seeing none, council direction?
I so move for adoption of resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman, California, initiating proceedings for the levy and collection of assessments for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2014-2015.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Opposed? I'm sorry, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 without Councilmember Davis absent. Thank you. Thank you. Item 11, Jim DiMartino, we're to you already. Excuse me 1 minute, Jim, before you get started here. It's been brought to my attention, and I'm sorry. On approval of the minutes, Councilmember Hutchins, you weren't here.
No, so I can't
vote on that.
Right.
So with Councilmember Hutchins abstaining, it'll be 3-0, with Councilmember Hutchins abstaining and Councilmember Davis not here. So ayes, Councilmember Candia, Councilmember Martina, and Mayor Caton. Okay? We good now? Okay. Jim, it's up to you.
Okay, well, you guys sure move along here, I really like that about you. I don't have very much this time. This is the Easter week, there wasn't very much going on in the county, and hardly any meetings went on. But I can tell you that the next meeting, the Healthcare Task Force is here in Newman at your community building on May 8th, beginning at 6 o'clock. And of course, our health summit, as I said the last time, is going to be on August 21st at the West Side Theater. We're going to finalize some plans for that in our next meeting, and we have to get our speaker yet and get the vendors, send a letter out to the vendors and start putting together the teams. But everything at this stage is coming along just fine. Tomorrow will be the Ranchers meeting up in Del Puerto Canyon. For anybody who'd like to go to that, it's a meeting once a year. We bring a lot of county staff up there, and the Sheriff's Department, University of California, Department of Agriculture, and it's primarily the people that live up in that canyon on agricultural issues, rural crime, and that sort of thing. And there's lunch served. There's no cost to it. Meeting begins at 9:30 and usually goes till about 1 o'clock. And it's a nice drive up there. If there's anything, just go up for the drive. It's actually worth it. And then I'd just like to announce the Canyon Classic. Since the Rotary Clubs in Modesto are putting that on, it's a bicycle race. It's in Del Puerto Canyon, although there are some easier routes where you don't have to go up that canyon. You can stay on flat land around Patterson. That is June 14th. And it starts early in the morning, and it's a lot of people come to that. I have to work in it every year as being in the Gateway Rotary. But people come over from the Bay Area and all for that, so it's quite an event. If anybody likes bicycling, they'll have about 4 different routes. The longest one's about 100 miles. That's for the real tough ones, but they have easier routes too, and on flat ground, so I just wanted to make everybody aware that is going on. And then the only other thing that I have is the EDAC meeting, Economic Development Action Committee, will be meeting on May 8th at 4 o'clock at the County Administration Building. So I'm going to go to that and then come here to Newman for the task force meeting. EDAC, if the city has any projects that might be able to get some federal funding, there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but there is money available for that. The county is willing to assist any city that has a project that might meet the federal criteria. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Jim? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Item 12, item from City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Just a couple quick things. Based upon our last meeting, I've set up meetings with the Chief Executive Officer from LAFCO, with respect to the ag preservation policy and the potential for an urban growth boundary. They were actually very excited to see that Newman is taking an urban growth boundary under consideration. We walked them through the language, talked to them about how we arrive at those decisions, and they seem generally supportive of Newman moving through the process and the ordinance and how it was written. So, with that being said, I also met with two members of the Board of Supervisors who also sit on that board, the LAFCO board, and they both, we walked them through it, and they both seem generally receptive of it. And Supervisor O'Brien, who's one of them, I met with him yesterday, and he was very appreciative of Newman at least considering that option, and he was the one that actually touted or really pushed for that opportunity for cities to have an urban growth boundary that were submitted to their voters, to the electorate. And so he was supportive of that type of methodology for ag preservation and was very supportive of our draft ordinance as well. So with that, our two legal counsel, Ms. Norton and Ms. Nubia and I are going to get together. We're going to kind of finalize some documents for you and have you take one last consideration and decide whether or not to move that forward to a vote of the people. So you can probably look forward to that probably at your second meeting in May or your first meeting in June. So we've been had a couple meetings. The Alliance is under new leadership. Personally, I like the change. I'm seeing a lot more that's more conducive to helping Newman promote itself. The old guard did not want to do any small locating businesses that were small, so it really, Newman never had a shot at anything that the Alliance was doing at that point in time. Now that they're shotgunning everything to us, there is a potential for Newman to land some potential job generators. Also, they'll be going to Las Vegas soon. We've worked with the landowner, and the Alliance has offered to push or advertise one local property. So we identified one in the central part of our town on the highway district, and we worked with the property owner, and he's given us permission to go ahead and have the Alliance market that property there to see if at the International Council of Shopping Centers at their big Las Vegas event. So again, I appreciate the new technique that the Alliance is using in trying to just shoot retail and a lot of the other smaller type of businesses where the old Alliance would only shoot for the large corporations. And for Newman, that's tough because we don't have large tracts of land like maybe our neighbor to the north or Turlock does with the West Turlock Industrial Plant. So finally, we got our foot in the game with this new director, and I think that's going to be helpful for us. So they're also doing economic development practitioner meetings. And so myself and Ms. Ocasio, our planner, will be attending those meetings, and we're learning about economic development as well so that we can enter into this second phase of economic development for the city. The first phase has always been get our house in order so that we can have customers or visitors come visit us, and now that we have that with all of our master plans in place, having the infrastructure to support those with our new quadrant or our master plan that's coming in, and we hope to be annexed next year. The future's looking bright for us with respect to economic development. So we're really going to start the marketing phase probably in the second half of this calendar year as we start really getting into the master plan, because that's something that we've always shot out at. There's a way to do it where you show the rooftops and how they're close in proximity to the other things. So hopefully that'll bear some fruit here soon. And those are the two big things that I had, Mayor. No baseball this week and softball for the local Little League, so nobody show up to Barrington or Metairie because there's nobody there. So.
Great. Any questions, comments for the city manager?
I just have one, Michael. I've been going through some material I have at home. Newman's emergency response team, do we have drills, do we have countywide drills periodically to ensure that we are ready for any type of emergency that might occur?
Yeah, our chief actually sits on the
Okay, so-
countywide operation, emergency operations committee. I know there's a group of citizens that have gone through a voluntary program through the West End.
Okay.
And so they should be graduating soon. I think you got some invitations to that as well, so.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make, we're prepared, you know, if something happens, like an earthquake, God forbid, or flood or whatever else, that
All of your staff is NIMS prepared, which is the National Incident Management
Okay.
System. We've all have our certificates that the federal government requires for us to be reimbursed through FEMA.
okay.
We've attended all of those classes. I know the chief sits on the emergency council board,
Okay.
and he goes to that as well. And I know Dawn sits on an
Okay.
emergency council board as well, right, with the,
And the mayor,
and the mayor.
both of us do.
But all the communication systems are up and running, and they're tested periodically?
They are.
Okay. That's all I have.
Great. Any questions, comments? Okay, I'll move the staff. Chief?
This weekend, Saturday, is our annual canine crab feed, and if you didn't get tickets, sorry, it's sold out, but we'd like to thank the community in advance for at least purchasing tickets. 600 tickets sold, so, and I still understand people are still trying to get tickets, so.
I know how to get one.
So thank you very much for your help with our canine program. That's it.
Great. Any questions or comments for the chief? Tried, Bob trying to leverage a position?
No.
Okay.
I was offered a ticket.
Oh, you get a ticket, all right. Stephanie?
Just a few things. Just wanted to let everyone know that the CDBG Tulare Street project is underway and going smoothly. It should be about 2 weeks total. Looks like everything's going well. I've been going out there, looking at what they're doing, and they've got a lot of work done so far. Also, just wanted to let the council know that our GIS internship with the university will be wrapping up in about 2 weeks' time. They've got a lot of work done this year. They've plotted all of our fire hydrants, our storm drain catch basins, and they're also, they went back to go and get street trees. Street trees are a little trickier because the satellite gets blocked by the tree itself, so that one's always a harder one to catch. But they've done a lot of work, so we're really happy about that. Also received the Villa's final map application from SCM, and that'll be before the city council once it's ready to be processed.
Great.
Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for Stephanie? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Soon.
Yes.
You're up.
Yeah, this is a follow-up update on the water system emergency action plan the city has developed. So basically, we have the 4 water wells around the city. So for example, here, the water well number 5, right next to Highway 33, we have 800 gallon per minute capacity. But we are repairing the motor with a new one because we have experienced significant reduction of the capacity from 800 GPM to 350. So we are going to complete this project actually this week. This is very close. And once we finish that, we can get the full capacity back to normal. And the second well here is well number 6, 1200 GPM. And third one here is well number 1, which is located in Water Tower, 1200 GPM. The last one, which is the biggest, is 2600 GPM, well number 8. So overall, we have total flow capacity 5800 GPM. But however, the city experienced the peak flow 3500 in the past. That means if just in case well number 8 kind of fail, any reason, so we are very close to the edge. So that's why the staff developing some kind of action plan how to overcome that types of worst scenarios. So this is what we are seeing here today. So this is the volume of water, not flow. However, indicating a really good number. So as you can see here, the water well production has been increased from around 10 million gallon per week to almost 13 million gallon last week. So we set up a kind of training session early this week to talk about attention alert level 1 because we need to provide these types of very important information to staff. So we are taking those training in-house so that we can take action appropriately and right away. So this is part of its emergency action plan that the Public Works Department has developed. Monitor statewide drought weekly update and collaborate with countywide drought action task force team. And we are improving water wells, number 5, 6, and 1. So we are going to complete number 5 as I mentioned, very soon. And monitor groundwater elevation. Based on some other resources from countywide drought action task force team, so some city in California are suffering from very lowered groundwater elevation because of drought. So we need to monitor groundwater elevation really carefully, even though we have no failure in motor or water well. However, groundwater elevation can affect our capacity. So rather than just monitor once a month, the Public Works has changed the schedule twice a month. Not just twice a month, we are checking the monitoring groundwater elevation, static and dynamic conditions. And we have developed the attention alert level 1 to 3, as you saw, and start training on emergency situations. So we have developed several scenarios. And also, as this is kind of long-term plans, so the city staff developing water conservation plans. This is one of them. Shallow water well concept. So we have never tried this one in the past. However, we have several major parks in town, but we rely on potable water to irrigate huge, tough areas. So if we can install kind of shallow water well, it's non-potable water, nobody drink the water. However, so we have a really good situation, for example, with very shallow groundwater elevation. So in that case, we can reduce kind of burden on potable water, the system. So city contacts several consulting company. There's no fee associated with this feasibility study. However, so we are working on these types of route so that we can reduce burden on the potable water capacity. That might prolong infrastructure improvement in the near future. So we're looking for some grants or low interest loan. So we are working on it. So if there's any update, we will let you know. Happy to answer to any question you may have.
Questions or comments for Kasum?
Just have one quick question. Can you back up about 3 slides?
Yes.
Kasum? To show the wells, that's the ones I want to see.
Yes.
Yeah, right there. So if we have a main, I'm looking more at fire ratings than anything else. If we
Yes.
lose well 8,
Yes.
the other 3 together, well, they just barely go over what well 8 gives itself. Do we have backup generators on all of these?
Yes, that's a requirement. The generator in place. So every week, the city staff actually operate the generator. It's a requirement.
Now, does everything run through the system here in well 1? Is that,
Yes, basically there's a booster pump in each water well. So the pressurized water goes to the 100,000 gallon water tank, the first. So just in case something happens, still we have a capacity with 100,000 gallons. So 3,500 GPM actually found based on the fluctuating elevation in the water tower. Until we see the change of the water elevation in the water tower, that means we are okay in terms of the capacity. But if we see that any change in the elevation of the water tower, that means out of capacity. We already hit the peak flow.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Comments and items from the council members. Don?
Nothing.
Nick?
Nothing tonight.
Bob?
I have nothing.
Wow. Well, I just have one short one. Stephanie, thank you again for coming through for the proclamation.
How did it go?
It went great. Dave Luna, who's from Newman, who's a DJ at KABX 97.5 in Merced, had called me. He was doing a live remote broadcast from Nob Hill last Saturday, so he called me to come co-host the show with him. And I've done several radio spots with him on my other part-time job. And so he called me. I said, yeah, I'll go down. So I thought it'd be nice to take a proclamation down to him. So we did. And Stephanie came through and did research and put it all together. And so he was touched, and he got a call from his boss right when I read it. And he said, wow, Dave, I didn't know. I didn't realize. And I said, your name, Newman's favorite son and all that other kind of stuff. And so we had a great time from 12 to 2 last Saturday at Nob Hill. And they were doing, promoting Nob Hill's meat department and everything. So we had a lot of fun, gave away a lot of prizes, and we had 2 extra sets of breakfast tickets for the Newman Fire Department, so we gave those away as well. And so we had a good time and had a lot of fun. I had a lot of people come by and put their names in for the drawings and things. It was a great time. So I just want to say thank you again for putting that together, and it went well. We had a good time. So, and with that, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
He still has relatives and stuff.
His mom still lives here.
That's what